back. I'm Tedward, and today, thanks to Bond Group in Waltham, Massachusetts, we're driving one of my favorite British sports cars. This is the 1967 Austin-Healey 3000 Mark III, powered by its 2.9-liter inline six with twin SU carbs, rear-wheel drive, of course, made it to a 4-speed manual gearbox with an electronic overdrive. These are the epitome of cool British motoring. We gotta close up this door a little bit. I've been poking around. But anyway, this looks so handsome in this bright blue. It's been repainted. It appears to have been repainted. I don't know what its original color was. Maybe a champagne color, but the red interior absolutely pops. I love it when you get a bright interior in a car where you put the roof down. I think Aston Martin people understand this. You get a sort of a bland Aston Martin color, and then you put the roof down, you've got blue leather or something outrageous. And I feel like the sports car is dead. There's very few things like this anymore. You can still go out and get a Miata, thankfully, but really that is evoking the heritage and vibe of these old British sports cars. And despite looking like a small car, these are the big Healey. It has disc brakes in the front, drums in the rear, behind these gorgeous knockoff wire wheels. And when I say knockoff, I don't mean that they're aftermarket or a stolen design. I mean knockoff, like a center lock wheel. Some people don't really get that. Maybe it's like an older colloquial term, but when I say knockoff, I mean you don't have lugs, you've got a hammer. And it's on a 180 section Michelin right now. So not a ton of grip, but it's also a light little car. And this is what's fun, is you can actually go out and play with these. And I love this car because it's mechanically sorted, but it's not perfect. We look around, you can see some dents. You've got some little love marks over here. Even this door has evidence of maybe trying to back out of the garage quietly one evening or one morning, and oops, we rolled it back into the support in the middle of the bay. Oops. Sometimes these things happen, but it drives great and it's fun. You've got 4 seats, sort of. I wouldn't put anyone back there. And these great little chairs up front. It does have a sort of shoulder harness. I'm not going to use that because it's a really crazy design, honestly, but we'll use the lap belt. And then you've got this great little 3-spoke steering wheel. Let's get it started and I'll show you under the hood. To start the Healey, we've got a good neutral. We've got our parking brake up. Key goes right here in the center of the dashboard. Jumps right to life. We've got Smith's gauges here, so we've got our oil pressure here, our water temp here, fuel on the left, speedometer, and our tach. If it was cold and we needed it, we'd have our choke right here, our flashers, which honestly has the coolest directionals over here. I love this design. This looks fantastic. Those are really cool. And then radio, which I don't know if that's original. It looks a little too modern. That one looks like two 70s or 80s to be from the 1960s. And some HVAC controls. Very simple car. First gear is straightforward. And it's pretty brisk. The older versions of these, this is the BJ8, so the final generation of Austin-Healey, and this is one of the later ones. This is the last year of production. Like I said, these have 150 horsepower over the about 136 that would have been in the older generations, so it gets steeper cams. That's the deal. It's amazing just how torquey and well balanced this inline six feels. It's really nice. These third generation cars also all come standard with power brakes, but no power steering, so you still gotta muscle your way through that, although it's not that heavy. I've noticed it idles a little high sometimes, and usually it settles out, but that's fine. We're not too concerned about that. what's most striking about this Healey is just how easy it is to keep up with modern traffic. Like, sometimes you get into old sports cars and they're fun, they're plucky, whatever, but they might require a little more thought before you jump in and start swimming with like normal cars in 2025. This is so easy. I think I need to adapt to the 1.2 a little bit. It's difficult to hit that gear just right, and I find myself being like a little bit of clunkiness in there. So, you know, that's on me, but it speaks to the intuitiveness of the drivetrain, where I feel like the Jags kind of had that lined up a little better, or it's a little easier. Even the 100. Such a good sound, but it's a very grabby clutch. Like, I'm actually really, I'm kind of just surprised by how like mechanically sorted this thing is. Yeah, there's no play, you know. It just, the only thing that takes a little adjusting to, other than kind of that upshift, is, you know, you got to give a big bootful for the brakes. Let's test out this Overdrive. With this Overdrive, I mean, it's a great highway cruiser. You just do this forever. This is fantastic. The Overdrive, I believe, will work in third and fourth gear. I typically clutch in when I come off the Overdrive, if I'm turning it back to normal mode, just because then there's not like any shock to the system. Getting tailgated like crazy by this fella. My goodness, no respect. No respect for a classic. You get the sensation of safety being compromised when you're behind a school bus, because that bumper is basically at my teeth. So you don't want to you don't want to rear end anybody. The 1967 Healey could not imagine a world when it was built that it would be sharing the road with a electric Mustang Mach-E. The gearing, you gotta get used to the gearing because I keep finding myself not giving it enough revs for the downshift, especially on that 3.2. So these are just things that I need to adjust to, but you know, not hard really. Oh my goodness. I feel like all I'm hearing are horns, not directed at me, but once in a while when you're in an old classic car, you do think, like, is someone beeping at me to tell me that, like, the car's on fire? And this is actually probably the most difficult thing for me about driving classic cars, is that that's what I'm always worried about. I'm always worried about someone trying to, like, wave me down, like, instead of saying, hey, nice car, they're like, hey, you should probably evacuate the situation. I do trust this, though, but, you know, knock on wood, huh? It's just such a classical design. You know, this equals sports car. And it garners everybody's attention. Get these earmuffs back on for the wind noise. It's funny, people think, oh, you're wearing earmuffs, you're such a baby, your little ears are cold. Well, yeah, sometimes my ears are cold because I'm driving cars with the binaural audio and 25-degree weather in the top down, but mostly, it's just so you're not getting blaring wind noise in your video experience. That's all. You know that I love a high-strung sports car, and this kind of isn't. It's like that mid-range. It's so good at just being an around-town car, but also super fun on a back windy road. Like, you're gonna be able to get into traffic just fine, but you're also not like struggling to figure out how to use this and where to use it. It just fits in everywhere. So I think that's going to do it for the 1967, the final year of the Austin-Healey 3000. I'm going to bring this back to Bond Group. And what I love about these cars is this is like the true embodiment of a little sports car. And it still is, because the Miata is still an available thing that's basically keeping the spirit of this type of thing alive. It's wonderful. There's just nothing like an inline 6 from the 1960s. All these cars just share such an incredible emotive spirit, and they're fun, they're raw, they're real, but they're usable, oddly enough. So thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one.